Harrison Turner, our president of the Rotary Club of Raleigh this year. And it matters that you're here today. I think everybody knows that my theme for our club this year is everything matters. If it doesn't get annoying to you yet, hearing it from me, it will at some point. But to our guests and to our visitors, it really matters that you're here for a couple reasons. One, if you find yourself in this room, you're blessed. I mean, we live in such a busy world. We so often forget how blessed we truly are because we have a to-do list or deadlines and things like that. But a lot of us in this room, the biggest issue that we're going to run into today is making sure that we scan in the QR code correctly so we don't get charged for parking. So we are blessed. And second, if you find yourself in this room, whether you're a long-time member or you're a first-time visitor to the Rotary, there's something inside of you that connects to the fact of there's a huge need in our city, in our nation, in our country, in the world, and that we're called to do something about it. So to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And that's why I love Rotary, because of service above self. It calls us to live a life of service above self every day, to sacrifice of our needs, our comforts, to make sure that we are adding value to our communities. So to challenge to visitors, come back. Try to see if this is Rotary something that you can give your time and energies to make a difference in our community. So I'm so thankful for everybody being here. I'm going to pass it over to John Cates for the invocation and pledge.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. As we come together today in the heart of our great city, we give thanks for Raleigh, for its people, and for the opportunities to serve this community we all love. We're especially grateful for welcome Mayor Janet Cowell, whose leadership and dedication to Raleigh continues to shape a brighter future for all people at home. May her presence remind us of our shared responsibility as Rotarians and as citizens to lead with integrity, to serve with compassion, and to live by the motto, service above self. Let us also take to heart Rotary's call to unite for good, to come together across neighborhoods, backgrounds, and beliefs to create lasting change for the city we're proud to call home. Bless this meeting, our speaker, and our shared work ahead. Amen. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bless America, and desire, and guide, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, God bless America, sweet home.
ARY, that's Bell's Rotary.
Thank you so much, John. And as a quick reminder, I did mention before, speaking of QR code, if you have not signed in for your parking, you have a QR code up here at the front. Please make sure to scan that so your parking is free for the next 3 hours. So next on the list, we've got Gary, who is going to be doing, hello Gary. You were on the, do you have a moment for guests? You, Past President Gary, I will hold your clip.
Always time for guests. Thank you, President Harris. That's the first time I've said that. That sounds great. All right. See that we have some guests. Most importantly, we have a Rotary young Rotarian. Soon to be young Rotarian.
Yes, it's my pleasure to introduce my daughter Lucy. She's a rising junior at Raleigh Rotary High School and also a member of the Girl Scout troop this club.
Visiting Rotarian, right?
I'm Dan Daniel. My wife and I recently moved back to Raleigh. I've been gone for 5 years.
I know several of the older men in this club, I hope that won't hold that against me, Jim. And looking forward to visiting with you. I'm looking for a new Raleigh Rotary home. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Gabriel Tricaro, I'm a physical therapist here. Weston invited me. Never been to a Rotary Club before. The closest I've been is when I talk to people about shoulder pain and they tell me about their Rotary Club. So, have a meeting. Thanks.
Welcome, thank you for visiting. Well, yes, we do.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Darryl Kane with the city of Raleigh, Raleigh Parks. I got invited here by Harrison and John, so thank you for the invitation. And I work with a couple of different departments around sustainability, sponsorships, and we love trees.
Wonderful, I believe we have another visitor.
This is technically my second time here. My name is Rudy Hunter. I'm the Corporate Design Build, custom home building company in the Tribe. I'm technically a guest of Harrison, more or less today. I love it. But yeah, really excited to hear more about what's going on.
I believe, did I miss anything? It looked like it, all right, President Harrison, here you go.
Thanks so very much. All right, next on the agenda, we have John, I looked over at John Cates and thought John. Randy Bowles, he is our foundation chair for a quick foundation update and a special Paul Harris presentation.
Thank you, President Harrison. Good afternoon, everybody. And so I have the honor to recognize some of the milestones and Paul Harris Fellows that are very important in society. For me, okay, I'm supposed to stand over here?
Yes.
Okay.
So people,
Madam Knox.
we want the people to see you.
To be like little mine.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So now, since this is my official duty as your foundation chair, first, I wanted to ask everybody, would you join me in recognizing and saying a warm thank you to the outstanding service of my predecessor, Patty Rooney. Thank you. Big shoes to fill. So, some of our milestones at Paul Harris Giving Society and their journey to become Paul Harris Fellow, to maintain that status. Just a little background for those who don't know, Paul Harris Fellows are those who give at least 1,000 to the foundation specifically over the course of the year, or who have had people donate points or make contributions on their behalf in their name. Either way. And so our Paul Harris Fellows are those who have completed the 1,000 mark. And just so you know, it is supporting very important causes and work around Rotary, very much part of the Rotary mission. Just a couple of examples. Supporting education. So more than 775 million people over the age of 15 are illiterate. And that is 17% of the world's population. So your gift to the foundation helps support people, help them to train coordinators in communities all over the world to learn how to read and to become literate. And I just love this one quote from a fellow Rotarian who said, when you teach somebody how to read, they have that for a lifetime. It ripples through the community one by one. And that truly is the gift of literacy to help improve economies and improve people's lives. So thank you to those who have made these donations, and thank you to all who give to the foundation. Always want to encourage that. So now, happy to recognize some of our Paul Harris Fellow milestones. We have a first-time Paul Harris Fellow in Lucy Inman. She could not make it today, but if you see her, know her for your congratulations and thanks. And we have two Paul Harris Fellows with a +1, so they've been Paul Harris Fellows for the last 2 years. One is Randy Proctor, and native, but the other is Terry Summer. So thank you, Terry, for your donation. Then we have a Paul Harris Fellow +2, which means he's been a Paul Harris Fellow for 3 years and helped me recognize Kurt one. That's that update, and again, thanks to all those that make donations to the foundation. I want to continue to encourage you to continue to support. Absolutely. So here, could you come up, Kurt? Gary, thank you so much. I'm not going to get out of here. Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Randy. And Kurt and Gary, thank you for being examples of the club of giving and providing back to the Rotary Foundation, who does such good work in our communities. Next up, we have Giamonte. I put that picture up there myself. Our wonderful Giamonte, who's fabulous as ever, for a membership update.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Harrison. Just really quick, regarding some updates, regarding the, first of all, happy Monday, everybody. How are we doing? If you're not happy, find something to be happy about, find something to be grateful for, because somebody did not wake up this morning, and you did, so obviously have a purpose. But with that being said, so regarding here at the membership chair, as you guys can see, if you are a guest, we do have some pamphlets over there. If you have any questions about the club or anything, please feel free to see me. But then also too, here at the club, we're going to have a service social event at the Willow Rooftop on August 28th at 5 p.m. Be on the lookout for that because we're actually going to have it's a football game that's coming up. So I checked it out, and we're going to look at doing something different for that service social. So we're going to have some fun this year on our service socials. And then if you are a new member, please raise your hand. If you've joined the club, please raise your hand. Raise your hand. New members. On September 24th, here at Tobacco Road at 5:30, we need to be here because we're going to have our new membership orientation. That will be one of the things to check off your list, so please be here, okay? You guys have a great Monday, and let's have some fun in here today, okay? Oh, my last thing. We want to welcome and thank you, Mayor, for coming here. I know you have a busy schedule, but we appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, brother. A quick highlight before we move on to the next slide. We have Eric Stevens. He is on Zoom. I confirmed that. Eric recently underwent a medical procedure and is at home recovering. He is doing well. So we just want to say, so glad you're here on Zoom. We're glad you're doing well, Eric. Real quick round of applause for Eric Stevens.
Thank you.
Next, we have a special award recognition, which is not, there it is. We will be providing a distinguished service award to our one and only Maddie Marshalls. Maddie, if you would please come up front. We've been meaning to give this to you, but you haven't been here the past couple of days, so we're so glad you're here so we can give it to you because we want to recognize you for the great work you've done. Linda has your but she has jumped in full in with Rotary when she joined. So she has helped out with the bulletin and been instrumental in the Southeast Raleigh Rotary Club, being one of their sponsors and mentors as well as the bulletin, which is a huge task for us, Oliver. So we just want to say thank you for all the hard work you've done, especially being a new member. You're leading by example, so appreciate all the hard work. All right. Next, we have a quick service update by Kevin Summers. Kevin, come on up. And then John, you're next.
I need support of Richard, so he's going to come up here as well. I warned you guys last week, and it has come through. We're going to be ringing the bell in July. Everybody's looking at like, wait a minute. Yes, the Salvation Army is doing a nationwide campaign. It's for food insecurity. So it's just one day. We're gonna ring the bell on July 31st at Walmart in Wake Forest. Okay, we're not ringing at our traditional location. That Walmart didn't give us permission, so we'll go with what we got. The good news is it's a head start on our fundraising efforts for later this year when we want to meet the Cary Rotary Club. So all the help is needed. It's just one day. There's a sign up genius link in the bulletin that was sent out today. I will be sending out notifications, but please, get your practice in. We won't have to worry about freezing temperatures this time. We'll have a different problem out there with this. Trying to stay cool. So ring the bell on July 31st, Thursday. Richard's got also another project to talk about.
Afternoon, fellow Rotarians. So at the governor's installation meeting a couple of weeks ago, the district was putting out ideas for service projects. And Shamika in our club decided to adopt the project, put the Raleigh Rotary spin on it. So in August, we will be launching the Raleigh Rotary Book Basket. So this idea is very simple. It's extremely impactful. We'll be placing book baskets in local laundromats filled with free children's books. These books can help read on site, or take home to help build personal home libraries. It's a low-cost, high-impact program designed to meet families where they are, promote literacy, and make productive use of idle time. And as said before, literacy is very important to our club. In particular, the last few years, we've partnered with Wake Up and Read, and we think this will be a wonderful project. We're working out the details right now as far as partnering laundromats. And on the first Monday, the first meeting of every month, we'll have an opportunity for club members to bring books to refill. And we've also set up an Amazon wish list to fill up that side. And you know me, you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So we'll be every month giving updates on this program. But we think this could be incredibly impactful, and it's a low lift, high impact that we're going to adopt through the rest of the year, and hopefully inspire other to do the same. So be on the lookout for the Raleigh Rotary Book Basket Project. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Kevin and Richard and Shakima as well. She's not here today, but really excited that she was able to pull that from the district installation. That's a great idea. Moving on, next we have our very own John Cates. He's got some more exciting information about our upcoming fundraiser. John.
Thank you very much, President Harris. I'm really excited to be here today. We announced this a couple of weeks ago, upcoming fundraising, that fundraiser that we're having, which is the America 250 Oak City Tree Campaign. This campaign is already in its initial phases, being accepted with lots of enthusiasm from lots of people, both in our club and in our city. And I can tell you that I am extremely enthusiastic about gifting 250 oak trees to the city of Raleigh for America 250 July 4th, 2026. Aren't you? Yeah. So in my dreams, I can imagine having a local citizens group come up with this beautiful bow that can be placed on oak trees around our city, downtown, around the Capitol building, in every park in Raleigh going, the Oak City celebrates America 250 with the Rotary Club. And the great thing about this campaign is that it aligns with the America 250 celebration. It's going to allow us to strengthen community ties. It's going to be very visible. It's going to support vital programs, including the tree canopy and sustainability, wildlife, and urban tree efforts, because what's coming is an even bigger tree campaign than what we're embarking on. And we want to make sure we can support that too. Most importantly, it promotes environmental, civic, and patriotic initiatives. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's a year-long campaign for our club, and we are going to have a schedule that includes Kicking off here in our meeting on August the 1st. And then in October, November, we're going to have a ceremonial tree planting at the governor's executive grounds to celebrate this campaign and some initiatives that are going on at the governor's mansion. Stay tuned. We're also working on maybe an Arbor Day planning. One of the things, people that have done a member for our club for a while know that this club has always supported trees. We have members, including Braxton Wilson's father, who was very committed to the trees of Raleigh. And we're going to continue that, starting with this campaign, but even going after if the club approves. So, I want you, every member of this club is going to be a fundraising member. And every member of this club is going to be on a team. We're going to have 3 captains. There's about 100 members. Every member will have a quota. I come from a sales background. If you've never been in sales, you're going to learn what it's like. You're going to have a quota, you're going to have a boss, and we're going to get results. If every member in this room in a club just sells 3 tree sponsorships at $250, that's $75,000 for trees in Raleigh. And guess what? We already have sapling money. We already have seed money. Use sapling. Acorns. We already have acorns. And the amount of $25,000 to get this party going. So, let's do it. What the Rotary Club of Raleigh can do, and let's make this a big deal. Thank you.
And I was in a couple meetings with the city of Raleigh and some of their committees. The amount of energy John has behind us is electric. So excited to see what our club does this year. And it's so cool to think that we're making an impact in our community where generations from now will reap the benefits of what we're doing here today. So next, we have a quick update. She is not here, but public image. If you're part of the public image committee, there is a meeting on this coming up Wednesday from 12 to 1. Contact Linda. If you do not have the Zoom link, she will send that out to you. But mark it on your calendar if you're part of the public image committee or would like to get involved with the public image committee. Please reach out to Linda. She'll send you the Zoom link for this Wednesday from 12 to 1. Next, we got raffle. Back to you, John. There you go.
Okay, thank you for your generosity today. We have a pot. It includes a 50 and a 20, so it's $70. Can the honorable mayor draw the ticket, or is that against the rules? Can you read the number?
The number is 825750.
Richard.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, John. Congrats, Richard. Next, Happy Dollars. Charlie, Happy Dollars, brother. Also, remember, we have the red buckets on the tables for the Dimension Alliance. Please, if you have any spare change for that, make sure you put that into the red buckets on the tables. Charlie, let's get some Happy Dollars, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, President Harrison. Y'all who's happy today? Here's one right here, Mike.
Charlie, I got 2 happy dollars because I took 2 children under the age of 3 on an airplane over the 4th of July and nobody dropped it. So.
Tommy.
I've been incredibly fortunate this year to sponsor some really great new Rotary members, Paul Watson, Bart Lankos, and Chuck Leedy. And we've been always talking about as a club how to get folks involved, how to get them to know other Rotarians and everything. So just as a one-time thing, we'll see how it works out. If it works good, maybe we'll do it again. But we're going to do breakfast on Thursday morning at 8:30. It's okay, you can get your thumbs out. Breakfast on Thursday morning at 8:30. If you'd like to join us, we would love to see you there. We've got about, I don't know, 10 or 12 of us so far that have already said they're coming. But if you'd like to come have breakfast with us, we'll be at Big Ed's on Falls and News Road, 8:30 a.m. on Thursday. Come on out there, get to know these new Rotarians, share a little bit about yourself. We'll get there, please, too.
That's all. President Harris.
Thank you. It's good to have you back, brother. Coming back to Georgia. Hey, Tom, what time again? On Thursday?
It's 8:30.
Where at?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you for that. Thursday, 8:30, Big Ed's.
The Big Ed's, you can get catfish with breakfast at Big Ed's.
I love Big Ed's, not from Goldsboro, and one of the only good things that came out of Goldsboro was the Hunter. So they serve the Hunter sausage there, and it just, I love Hunter sausage. Anyways, I will be there for sure. Next, birthdays and anniversaries. We have done. Jim Morrison, his wife's anniversary was last week. He celebrated 21 years, I think it was. No birthdays and anniversaries this week. And then moving on, we have a jam-packed series of events coming up. July 28th, which is next week, we've got the Boys and Girls Home. We'll have a representative of them coming out to speak. After that, August 4th, we have the state treasurer, Brad Reiner, coming out to speak to us. After that, on the 11th, we've got Gary Green with Read Resources. He's going to be presenting about making authentic connections. The 18th of August, we have our midsummer break, so we will not have a meeting. But then coming back from that, we're going to have Michael Haley, who's the executive director for the Wake County Economic Development. He's going to provide some information, a good presentation on some of the fun things that are happening behind the scenes from an economic development standpoint. So make sure to mark your calendars. This is going to be a good series of meetings. Next, I'm very honored to have our featured presentation, which is Mayor Janet Cowell. Janet was elected Raleigh Mayor in 2024. She serves as Vice Chair of the Safe, Vibrant, and Healthy Community Committee and Vice Chair of the Economic Development and Innovation Committee. Janet has 15 years of prior public service, including Raleigh City Councilor, North Carolina State Senator, and North Carolina State Treasurer. The first and only woman elected treasurer. She managed over $100 million in pension assets and administered the state health plan for over 900,000 state and local government workers and retirees. Before being elected mayor, Janet worked closely with the city of Raleigh as the president and CEO of Diggs Park Conservancy. The Conservancy works with the city and created Dorothea Diggs Park, a 300-acre site less than 1 mile from downtown Raleigh, which we're very familiar with. During her tenure, Janet raised over $40 million in private funds to help create the park. She oversaw the compilation of renovation and adaptive reuse projects, and the park included the Great Wood Junior Chapel and the Stone House and Visitor Center. She also established a significant public arts program featuring local, national, and international artists. Cowell has served on numerous boards throughout her career. She served 8 years on the North Carolina Board of Education and the North Carolina Community College Board. She currently chairs the Wharton School of Business Executive Education Board. She served as the corporate director of 2 publicly traded companies, Channel Advisors and J River Insurance. Originally from Memphis, Tennessee, Cowell is a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania and earned her MBA studies from the Wharton School of Business and the Laundry Institute. We are so honored to have you here today. She's going to be speaking on the state of the city, and Mayor Cowell, up to you.
And Harrison and all of y'all for being Rotarians, everything you're doing in the community. I really, of course, appreciate the tree, working with the city of Raleigh to plant the oaks that are the namesake of the city, but also just the reading baskets. I mean, that sounds like a very creative and useful, right, way to advance literacy and all the other things you're doing. So really appreciate that. And I appreciate the invite to meet you today. I'll give you some of the state of the city on some of the big issues and things we're working on, but I'll just start with a little bit of background of why do I care, why did I decide to run for mayor? As you mentioned, I was born in Memphis, so I was actually born in Memphis just weeks after Martin Luther King's assassination, which was a tragic event, not just for that city, but obviously for the whole country and world. And some of my earliest childhood memories in the early 70s in Memphis are sitting in the back of we had a blue Impala with my siblings and looking out as we went through the streets of Memphis and visited grandparents and just seeing a city that was really struggling. Not just because of the assassination, but all the other factors that were loss of jobs. But you saw the neighborhoods that my parents grew up in. They went to a high school next to Elvis's. So they went to Central High School in Memphis in the 50s, and all those old soda shops and, comic book stores and all this stuff that they remember became, closed up shops, bars on windows, just dilapidated. And as a kid, I just, trying to make sense of all of that, obviously not quite understanding why all of this is. My dad was a minister, so we moved out of Memphis, we moved all over because he started new churches. So we were in high-growth suburbs around the country, so I got to see a lot of different communities. Colorado Springs, Colorado, they lived in Salt Lake City, Nashville, Tennessee is where I went to high school. So I then started seeing the cities that were doing better. And I kept moving and moving myself. So I went on and lived in Asia, Europe, and then decided finally I wanted to live down roots. Like having moved my entire life, where did I want to go? And I decided that Raleigh, we were talking about this at lunch, right? First off, it's a college town, it's in the South, that's where I'm from. And I will say I'm very grateful. I've now been here for 28, I think this week actually, for like 28 years in the city of Raleigh, and have been really privileged to serve in elected office representing the city and working to make it even better. I will say, cities are more important than ever. I was just at a Bloomberg leadership program for global mayors, and Bloomberg, as you know, was the mayor of New York, and is one of the few individuals, really globally, that it recognizes that cities are the engines of economic growth. They're where most people live. They're where the innovation, the change, the jobs, it's where everything's happening. And Raleigh is really fortunate that we've had a lot of accolades. I'm showing you how much it's changed. As we all know, Raleigh, I think 70 or 80% of our housing was built just since the 1980s, right? We were a small place, government town, didn't even make the books in North Carolina, didn't even mention North Carolina. It was Rocky Mount, it was Winston-Salem, it was other places, and we just really grown. So this is Raleigh in the 1950s. Here we are, 1990. You can see that some of the big towers we all know so well are just being built. And then, right, you've got here you can see the Oak City, the wall there on the convention center. So we've changed a lot, and we've gotten a lot of accolades. So, and I'll say, so this is, as you all know, this is my second tour of duty on the city council. So I was sworn in back at 01. Do y'all recognize who's swearing me in? It's Justice Bob Moore from the Supreme Court of North Carolina. My mom was standing there. And then there I am, years later, mom's still there. And we have Judge Paul Ridgway, and you can see former Mayor Marianne Baldwin there in the background. And like I said, a lot has changed in Raleigh, even in that time period, including, so the council I serve with, and you know, Charles Meeker, Bill Isley, who's now our city lobbyist, so I see him quite frequently. But how much the council has changed, a much more, I would say, diverse council in certain ways. And there we are at our swearing in December. So talking about what are the big issues we're all grappling with here in Raleigh, housing, right? This is the #1 issue that I think mayors across the country and world are dealing with, and we are fortunate to be in a city that is growing, and we have a 37,000 unit shortage of housing. People that are cost burdened with their housing, they're having to pay a lot. And as you can see here, this was in the 1950s, New Bern Place, so we were building even back then, and we continue to build. This is Mayor Pro Tem Stormy Ford, Megan Patton from District B, Corey Branch, so a number of folks, I think Jane Harrison, that are on the council, now, and despite all the shoveled dirt, we are still way short of where we need to be. We are working on affordable housing and market rate housing. 90% of our units are market rate, so most of this is trying to make sure as projects come up to us, we want them to be responsible, we want them to be thoughtful, but we need housing. We also know that we need to have projects where we partner with Habitat for Humanity and other groups to do subsidized housing. And you can see that we have approved in the first 6 months of the year, a number of units, and then we have more underway. So this is definitely a big topic and focus, and more in the pipeline. And one good thing is, again, that they're scattered across the city. I think lessons learned from the past. You don't concentrate a lot of low income into one, right, physical building. You also don't want to concentrate that into just a few neighborhoods. So it's really important that we distribute those units across the city. In the next few years, I think things we're working on is trying to streamline permitting to get houses out faster, working on how we can better approve like accessory dwelling units, and continuing to just try to work with both the private sector and our partners like Habitat to get more housing. When you don't have enough housing, you end up with the unhoused. I also appreciated that y'all are doing the food drive and in the middle of August or July 1st on food and ending hunger. This is a shot from the, I think, the early 90s. She's got the shirt there, 1990, of volunteerism on this issue. So it has been a long standing, and this is a shot from today. We have worked hard. Just in my 6 months, one of the first things we did is, because it was a cold winter, working with Wake County to make sure that there was a shelter open on January 1st when other beds were closing. And they did get a 2nd Street shelter over in East Raleigh. The City of Raleigh has also done a pilot program that was getting folks bypassing shelters altogether. The shelters have their own form of trauma and difficulty. Trying to get people directly from unhoused into housing. And we there was an encampment at Dix Park, and we got about 60 plus people into housing. We're now working on, I would say, about 10 people in the downtown area that we're trying to get directly into housing, and it's a protocol 30 neighbors have. So those have been successful. We will continue to work on those issues. All right, public safety. I will say this is from, I think this is from the 20s. The guy in the front looks a little out of shape. I say that this morning, I just did this for fun. I took a police officer physical assessment test, COPAT. And what you have to do for this thing is you have to run around these fences, and you got to jump over a fence and crawl under a culvert, and then you have to roll. It's almost like you're chasing a suspect. So you have to step things, and then you have to drag a 175-pound sandbag, as if you're dragging like one of your colleagues' head, you have to get them off. Harder than you think. But I passed it. You get a certain amount of time. Yeah. I appreciate that you get all the donut jokes. But I think our police officers are pretty fit because they got to pass that test every year. So this is our 20s officers. In the first 6 months, we had hired Chief Rico Boyce. I don't know whether he's talked to your Rotary group or he's really out in the community a lot. That is him when he first joined the force, and I feel good about him, partially because he has spent so much time in Raleigh and he has come up through the ranks. He served as the school resource officer at Southeast Raleigh High School, and when he got sworn in as chief, and we had it at Southeast Raleigh High School, and some of his old students are now working for the city of Raleigh, so we have them introduce them. But I mean, he's come up through some pretty, you know, not flashy, not glamorous jobs and done it all. And is just, you know, a good human being. So I feel really good about his, where he's going. Some of the efforts that the city council and, you know, this is the unit of our police force that works with folks that are really more in need of social services, social interventions, just people in crisis, wellness checks, those kinds of things. There is a number of people, I will say, that will email the council and are, you know, clearly not particularly in their right mind or seem like they're desperate. We will work through the Raleigh police to have acorns, you know, potentially check in. They're also working with the unhoused, you know, other groups on the streets. We also just voted and are newly instituting this Raleigh Cares, which is your 911 call. If you call 911 and it's not an emergency, but what you're really calling about is somebody needs a wellness visit, or, you know, there's maybe a potential drug overdose, something like that, where it can divert into an alternative response unit, and you're not entangling people in the justice system that, you know, may just need, right, some additional care. Over the next 2 years, there's a lot more progress to be made. We just gave our public safety a raise of 11%, both police and fire. One of the biggest raises I've given in the 15 years I've been in public office. It's always an arms race with the other communities. Raleigh trains them, and then they go make more money in a community that may not have some of the big urban issues that we do. We're also still growing. And while we need to rebuild old stations, build new stations, I tell you, the News River is hard to get across. So those neighbors, you know, as we build on the east side of the News, we actually have to coordinate with Nightdale and those towns to do joint sort of assistance programs so that they may be able to get out to those neighborhoods faster than we can. And how do we sort of work with them to make sure that everybody's getting responsive time? So lots of more investment in fire stations and fire and police. Transportation, this is a picture from clearly the 1950s, given the buzz cut and the t-shirt. Here we've got the entire council recreating that photo on our own rent-a-bikes. And I will say, this is some of the historical bus rapid transit. We have the bus rapid transit starting and have gotten bids back. So that is, bus rapid transit is almost like a light rail, but it's still on the road. But the buses have the ability to change the lights. So they never have to stop at a red light. They can just keep going in their own designated lane. It's a double-size bus. The first leg is going to be New Bern corridor, going from like Wake that area all the way in, and then it will continue down Western out to Cary by NC State. The other leg is the southern leg, which will go down towards Garner, and then there will be a northern leg as well. So I went up to Capitol Hill and lobbied to keep these federal funds. This is an important part of providing affordable housing. This is what the new buses will look like. That you can see that accordion. All right, so I love this photo. These are our guys from. There's an Instagram called Old Raleigh, and they have all these pictures from the News and Observer. And this one was just so fun. This is 1965 on Club Cadet. Do any of you recognize where that is? Hillsborough Street, exactly. This is Broker Gardens, and actually the city has bought this property as an affordable housing unit. They're single units. Okay, this is me. Recreating that photo. And I will say, I did not have quite the joy to be as the woman on the Club Cadet, because I am on a really heavy electric bike, and it is raining. But it was fun to try and recreate that same block. So we are, speaking of bicycles, we have put voted on 25 traffic calming projects this year across the city. That's always a popular one. And then we're also working increasingly on fighting bike lanes, bike safety. We also have a Vision Zero on pedestrian safety. We have about 25 traffic deaths a year. About 10 to 15 of those are pedestrians. I mean, this is more of to talk about, but 10 to 15 people a year that are going to get killed in Raleigh. And a lot of those, unfortunately, it intersects with the unhoused population. People that are on major roads, not well lit, people that may be crossing. We just are passing a panhandling ordinance that tries to address some of this because, and some of you may have seen this, you see people out in the middle of Brookwood Avenue. So they come all the way across like 4 lanes of traffic, and they're on an intersection that may be 3 feet wide. Sometimes these people are in wheelchairs. I mean, it's heroin for all involved. So we're trying to pass an ordinance to say, if the median's less than 6 feet wide, we really don't want you out there. It is a First Amendment right to be able to panhandle. But we want you to do that in conditions that are safer so that you're not out in traffic and people aren't thinking that you can fall into the road. So that is a recent ordinance that we quality of place and resilience, another topic. Anybody know where this is? That's actually Chavis Park. And as you can see, the Millie Dunn BC papers, we just named the federal post office after Millie Dunn BC. She was an African-American member of the women's, I forget the number of the unit, but they sorted mail in Europe. There's a movie about them. It's actually quite good. I forget it's on Netflix. But it's like the 866 unit or something, but one of the only African-American all-female units. Partially, they were given this task because everybody thought it was a task nobody really wanted, was trying to get mail to the soldiers, to get the soldiers' mail back to their families. So anyway, just a fitting tribute to her by having a federal post office named after her. This is Chavis Park today. Gibson Play Plaza. How many of you have had a chance to get out there? Yeah. It's really amazing, and even in the heat, I would suggest that you can still go out there because there are multiple water features. There's a waterfall, and then behind the waterfall, it's sort of mist. So if you don't really want to get wet, you can just go behind and feel that sort of cooling mist. There's also a splash pad, and then up above, there's a recreation of Yatesville Pond, which is like a water feature where kids can play with the levees, and it's got sand. So lots of different features. It was really fun to open this up earlier this spring. Another big investment the city's working on, the expansion of the convention center, a new Omni Hotel, and moving to Red Hat. This is just an old drive-in to show you then and now. So other features we have voted on is just continuing on our greenway and stream. I will say this is a bigger feature, even with recent floods. We were talking with one of you, I think Randy, right, that was from Texas. Right. And of course, we all followed the tragedy at the Guadalupe River and the number of deaths there, particularly children. Just recently, the Chapel Hill mayor was in touch with me, asking for assistance as they recover from the floods that took about 6 lives in multiple counties of central North Carolina. And if you want to know, with Raleigh, there's a 1 to 10 point scale on flooding. We're a 5, with 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. So at least that's somewhat reassuring. A lot of cities and towns are like 7 states. We have a lot of investment, but I think there's a lot more we can do to make sure that we are ready for heavy rainfall events. We all know the storms are getting more extreme, more moisture, more things are concentrated. I'm also on a national panel on FEMA. It's chosen just because North Carolina clearly has had a lot of interaction with FEMA through Hurricane Helene. And then working on things like flood prevention and getting us all involved. I will say planting trees is part of that because they absorb water. So I'm glad that y'all are doing that. This is 1959 City Council. We really want to talk about change. Jesse Helms is the second one in with the dark hair, and they're all looking at what was the new City Hall in 1959. That building has just been recently demolished for the new City Hall, which is, here is the new City Council, standing in front of the construction of the new City Hall. We even got the glasses to replicate those 1950 glasses. And if you think Mitchell Silver looks stiff, it's because we photoshopped him in. He is actually not that unnaturally, yeah, he couldn't make it that day. But the City Hall, we are now doing about a floor every couple of weeks. So it's fun to see that progress being made. And then finally, this was me recreating a photo of this fabulous clerk from 1965. I said, this does not mean I want to take over the DMV. We are not signing up for that. But I did go buy some cat eye glasses and got them to recreate this this look. But yeah, just in closing, you know, a lot of great things happening in the city. I mean, we get the accolades, we're growing, we got to manage that growth, we got to be thoughtful, and I think as you see, we are focused on housing, both market rate and affordable, keeping the city safe through public safety investments, you know, salary adjustments, taking some of those environmental risks seriously, and still trying to help the least of those when you think about the unhoused and really more social assistance and growing a big city. So those are just some of the topics. Happy to take any questions you have, but just appreciate y'all's role in helping with all of this.
Just kind of a question, but how do you work with city?
How do I work with the council?
Yeah.
Well, I will say, I feel like we've got good relationships, and that was a priority for me. I wanted to make sure that staff and council were all in a good situation. So we have like prep calls every Friday and Sunday. So if we're having a council meeting, we can sort of get in small groups, so we're not violating the meetings, and talk about what our concerns are, what's coming up, so that hopefully there's no surprises on the table. I have tried to distribute the leadership of all those committees. When they read committees, I'm not sharing anything, so that other members of council have a chance to lead on issues. So distributed leadership and kind of participation, and then working closely with staff, because as you all know, this is a manager form of government, and so I will say I've appreciated working with city manager Marshall and David, and then we have a lot of great assistant city managers as well, and I go direct to them on things like transportation, the flooding issues, because they know they have all that data at their fingertips, and often will go out, talk to citizens, you know, solve some constituent issues almost immediately. So we've got a good team as well.
Is there anything that I can tackle the city, which you got into the seat? It's like, well, this is not going
Everything's harder than that. Yeah. You know, you chip away at stuff, the housing. I'm trying to think with the public safety, I was really glad that those public safety raises. What I have appreciated 20 years later is how much we really have to work with the county. I mean, they have a lot of the social service work, and so when we wanted to do the alternative response 911, we have to get the medical officers approval to do anything. So just a lot of partnership, and if Wake County is cutting their budget for affordable housing, that means we gotta up our money for affordable housing. So, those partnerships, and of course, the state's super important. I will say, I feel like our relationship, I'm glad we've got Treasurer Briner coming in. He's been good, the Secretary of Administration who oversees all state property. They actually want to sell some state property. And of course, when you live in the capital city and you've got all this state property that doesn't pay any taxes, it makes it, our tax rate's higher than Charlotte's because of that. The fact that they want to sell some is great news. So I'm really hoping that in this moment of, things that I might have thought were even harder, that we might actually get 2 or 3 state property sales in the next 2 years. So that would be a win that I wasn't even anticipating.
Aside from some fires you mentioned earlier, where's the city in filling its hiring needs in infrastructure, transportation, and everything else?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we also paid a 9% raise to city employees. They were not, we did a big salary and compensation benchmark study, so we weren't pulling numbers out of a hat. We comp ourselves against cities like Mesa, Arizona, Charlotte, Durham, and we were about 13% below market, which was making it hard to hire and retain. So we gave them a, and we are, I don't know whether we're fully staffed, but that helps a lot to at least be competitive. And I would say that Raleigh is an attractive enough place that sometimes, you don't have to be way above market, you just have to be around market to be able to hire.
Coming into this meeting, I came from the north, I tracked the boulevard, and see some construction
Yeah.
there. What is being done for that area, the ugliest?
So if you missed that, except what's being done for the ugliest entrance into Raleigh, which is Cowell Boulevard. I will say that we have multiple ugly scars in our city. One of the Western Boulevard, which was a bad renewal project that unfortunately destroyed a lot of Black community homes and neighborhoods, Fourth Ward, and still divide North and South Raleigh. So how we cross and reconnect the city there is an issue. And then Capitol Boulevard's the other one. In fact, I think that transportation is almost like everybody was celebrating in the 1950s when we created these massive superhighways that destroyed neighborhoods. And it was just it was not well guided, well intended, but so how do we reconnect over that? There's actually a lot of plans to redevelop along that where it would be a high density corridor. Now you do have Crabtree Creek there. So there's a lot of floodplain, so we got to accommodate and think about that. But Crabtree Creek is as big as the creek that goes to Greenfield, South Carolina, which is of course a major attraction, whereas we've treated Crabtree Creek like a drainage ditch, right? We didn't even know Crabtree Creek was there. So I think trying to restore and enhance the creek, think about the development in a higher density corridor starting up right that whole way. And of course, there's a lot of redevelopment already with Ironworks, other developments. So I will say that we had talked about a toll road north of 540, right, to facilitate all those northern counties and into Raleigh, out of Raleigh. The legislature decided they wanted to take that off the table. They didn't want any tolling. So some of the local attempts and that were made because there's not funding forthcoming. I'm not sure we have a ton of options on. So I don't think you're going to see that prettified anytime soon, but I would say it'll start more from the southern end of density coming up. She wanted to know when falls in the news will be done. I don't have an answer off the top of my head, but I can ask our traffic engineers. All right. Sorry, thank you.
Reduce it down. One of the things we wanted to honor you with is, we talked a little bit about today, the Paul Harris Fellow, where individuals giving to the Rotary International Foundation are awarded the Paul Harris Fellow. Our Rotary Club of Raleigh has our own foundation, and those giving to the Rotary Club of Raleigh Foundation become Lester Woodall Society members. It's money that goes back into our community, and with your resume of having your fingerprint on things that are happening in our city, in our state, we would love to honor you by making you a Lester Woodall Society member as well. So we had a pin for the Lester Woodall Society. Of course, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. This is probably one of the most coveted compliments in all of Raleigh. So with all the hard work you have, whether it's bourbon or coffee, this would be perfect for you. Thank you so much.